to the Point of Impact podcast with Rick McDaniel. Thanks for joining us today. Get ready to be inspired and motivated to live a high-impact life. Now, here's Rick.
Welcome to the Point of Impact podcast. I'm Rick McDaniel. It's great to have you joining with us today. We're finishing up the 10 words that can change your life. And the final 2 words are thank you. And I'm looking forward to talking with you about this. There's a lot of talk about gratitude. I've done several episodes on it on this podcast, but that's more on the side of like feeling gratitude. Today, it's more on the giving gratitude, the expressing, not the receiving of it, but the expressing of it. And it's so important. It's so vital. And again, 10 words that can change your life, absolutely can change your life. So we'll get into that in a second. And also, what are we going to do now as we move toward our season coming to a conclusion? We always take the summer off. So we've got about a month or so left before we finish up for our summer break. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 different episodes that are going to center around like success and happiness, but there's no theme like this theme of 10 words. I'll just be hitting different things like morning habits of successful people and choices for happiness, stuff like that. We'll just do some very interesting, very helpful 4 episodes on success and happiness that I think will be really, really beneficial to you. But we're going to finish up here today. Now, on Wednesday, just a couple days ago, I had another Verse of the Day video come out on the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app, the largest Bible app in the world, but really one of the largest apps in the world, 580 million people, something like that. It's absolutely gigantic. And those of you that are listeners regularly, I have a great relationship with these folks. I have 8 reading plans, so you could go on there and you could just type in my name in the search, and up would come 8 different reading plans. They're all 5 days, so you could start them on a Monday and finish on a Friday, in a perfect world. But you can start today and go through the weekend. You can do it however you want to do it. But on all kinds of different topics and themes that I think all in the inspirational vein, which is, as you know, my thing. So on top of that, then I've done 2 previous Verse of the Day videos, and then this one that I just did on Wednesday. So all 3 of the Verse of the Day videos are also going to be available to you to watch. So just type in Rick McDaniel and watch the latest Verse of the Day video. Watch all 3 if you haven't seen them, and look at the plans and pick out a plan, or just decide I'm going to do all 8 plans, just one after the other. And the most popular one is called Mindset Matters. That's the one that has had the most people do the plan. But, there's great ones. Best Life, Believe, one based on my book, This Is Living, called This Is Living. They're all really, really, really great and different, though, with an inspirational theme. So take advantage of just going on all these. The app is free. Everything is free. So it's one to take advantage of for sure. Just did a conference, an event, but it was done via, like online instead of in person. So hopefully we're going to be able to take that and that video and give it to you in audio form, or maybe it'll be on the YouTube channel in video, and then maybe here on audio as well. So we'll see how that all works out. That was 3 keys to a successful marriage. So if you're married, or even thinking about getting married, that would be one that you would definitely want to take advantage of. So I'll be talking more about that in the days to come as we get more definitive information about exactly what's going to happen. But that event is going to be on Saturday, June 1st. So Saturday, June 1st is when that event will actually take place. And next week I should have more definitive information the day before about how you can watch it and time, all that sort of stuff. So look for that next week. All right, so we finish up 10 words that can change your life with these two very simple words. Thank you. Thank you. Your attitude toward life and people changes when you're thankful, when you say thank you to people. Think about this. I'm, as some of you know, and if you don't, I'm a native New Englander. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut. Went to one of the schools that I went to was Boston College. So I married a girl from Massachusetts. So I've got a lot of connections with Massachusetts. One of my sons lived in Boston for a while on 2 different occasions. So visited, we used to vacation in Cape Cod as a family. Took the boys to Fenway Park. Both my boys are big time Patriots fans, for instance. So I'm a New Englander through and through, even though I've lived in Virginia for many, many years. But if you go back to New England and you look at the Pilgrims dug 7 times more graves than they built homes. And yet, these are the people that instituted Thanksgiving. 7 times as many burials dug. I mean, as many graves dug, as many burials as homes built and celebrations of new homes. So that gives you, just an idea about what we're talking about here. In my 5 habits of happy people, one of the 5 habits that leads to happiness is gratitude. So the gratitude part is gigantic, but it's also the thankfulness and the saying thank you. There's just something about it that it isn't just, as I said before, most of the gratitude focus is on kind of the receiving of gratitude, the thinking about gratitude. And again, I've spoken and written on this, to have a gratitude journal, to end your day reflecting on things that you can be thankful for. But the other side of that is to be on the, proactive side, the initiation side of saying thank you to other people. Because when you do, what happens is that some very, very positive things happen. And I can think of 3, for instance. One is it just makes you a more gracious person. I mean, gracious comes from the word grace. So someone who's gracious is someone who understands that they experience grace. And grace in its most basic definition is unmerited favor. You don't merit the favor, you just receive it. And so someone who's gracious is someone who recognizes that they have been blessed, that they have received favor and grace. And they then, instead of kind of hoarding that for themselves, they share that with other people. It's a marvelous thing. And it's really one of the highest compliments you could get is for someone to say, you're a gracious person. And I don't think you hear that often, and probably ought to hear it more. The second is it's going to make you a more loving person, because being thankful, saying thankful words, expressing thankfulness, this is an act of love, and it builds love. It builds relationships. It just knits people together in a way that is very, very powerful. This is why you'll hear time and time again in either, say, a marriage dynamic or a business one, which is interesting. Both of these, you'll hear the same thing about saying thank you. That spouses should say thank you to one another, appreciate one another, and that bosses should say thank you to the folks that work for them and even coworkers, because there's something about it that just really builds love and connection and relationship. And the final thing is it just makes you a positive person. Someone who's saying thank you is someone who's functioning out of a positive mindset. People who don't say thank you are people who are in a negative mindset. They're in the I've been wronged, woe is me, things never work out, how can I see this in the most negative light? But people who have a positive mindset are the same people that say thank you, and it's because you say thank you that you have that kind of positive mindset. From the standpoint of a Christ follower, this is really where, say, the praise and worship time in a church service is so important. I used to have people who would say to me through the years, they'd say, I don't really come for that praise and worship stuff. I just come to hear you, Pastor Rick, speak. And, I would always say, hey, that's a mistake. That's not a compliment. That's a mistake. You should come for the whole thing, because we need that time of saying thank you. And that's why it's so important to go to church, and why it's so important in that praise and worship time to be praising and worshiping God and giving God thanks. Saying essentially thank you to God for all of your blessings, for your wisdom, for your direction, for your provision, for your grace, for all the things that God blesses us with. This is an opportunity. It's not the only opportunity, by the way, because the Bible teaches very clearly in Philippians, for instance, that we're, in terms of talking about prayer, it says by prayer and supplication, and that's just our petition. It's just two different words that both mean a slightly different. More like by praying for others and praying for yourself with thanksgiving, make your request known to God. So, you pray for yourself, you pray for others, and then you thank God. That's the key thing. So it isn't just on Sunday, but Sunday gives you a chance to do that with other people, and, beautiful music and all the rest of it. Your relationships just with everyone get better by saying thank you and being thankful. I mean, that's it, man. I mean, it doesn't really get much more clear than that. And if you wonder about it, if you question it, why don't you just start trying it? Just start saying thank you more than you've been saying thank you, which for most of us is pretty easy to do, because most of us are not saying thank you as much as we should. Let me read something. This was a Dear Abby, and I always thank her for her many contributions she's given me. But this is a woman talking about Thanksgiving weekend and saying, I spent Thanksgiving weekend with my adult daughters and in tears. I served dinner to more than 20 people. I got no help. Cleaning up, and then Friday morning I had a meltdown, and I said to them, you got to do better. My older daughter said sorry in a sarcastic tone. My younger daughter responded with, anybody mind if I take a shower now? Like, just kind of ignored it altogether. My husband works third shift, and he helps me as much as he can. I spent all that day loading, unloading dishwasher, putting things back where they belong. My daughter spent the day shopping, visiting friends, and watching TV. Wow. I spent my life trying to make holidays special and create happy memories, and instead I got these daughters with a sense of entitlement, as if I'm obligated to do everything. My daughters revert to being children. The minute they cross the threshold of the house, they expect me to be their mommy and cook and maid who attends to their every need. I've spoken to them about this repeatedly. They always promise to do better, but they never do until I cry. I know I'm not the only mother who suffers this way. So it's pretty, it's pretty heartbreaking story to read, and of course it's not uncommon. There's no doubt about that. How would things change if the daughters were saying thank you and were helping out and showing the appreciation to their mother? It would just change things remarkably. Saying thank you, it's just so significant. Now, here's the thing. Many times, the reason we don't say thank you is because we don't do it quickly, and then we never end up doing it at all. And if you're like me, you know this is true. When we don't give thanks quickly, it ends up like we feel it, like we know we should say it, we want to say it, and for whatever reason we don't say it, and then it never ends up getting said. There's a story in the Bible, in the Gospel of Luke, about these lepers who were healed, and leprosy was the worst disease in ancient times. It required people to be separate, to live in leper colonies away from everyone else. They had to wear bells on their clothes so that if anyone got within 50 yards of them, they should hear the bells, and they had to yell out these words, unclean, unclean. I mean, imagine saying that about yourself. So when they were healed of this horrendous disease, that is like incredible. And the way the story goes is 10 of them were healed and only one came back and said thank you. What happened? And, this is my take on it, that the other lepers were probably they were supposed to show themselves to the priest, by the way, first, to prove that they're no longer lepers. And that they just got caught up in the whole celebration. Like, they were just so over the top excited about what had happened to them that they just got caught up in it. And then as time went by and they kind of, that kind of settled down and the gravity of the whole thing hit them, and they knew that like this could have never happened except that Jesus healed them, and they knew that they should say thank you, but it's like the moment passed. I mean, it's just a weird thing that can happen with us. Like, we need to be thankful and say thank you quickly, because many times it passes. Now, of course, there's nothing stopping us from going back a week later and saying thank you. But I just think if we do it quickly and consistently, I would say it. When there was a study done in the workplace, and they asked bosses what was the main reason that you don't appreciate your employees more, and they said it was a lack of time. They just didn't feel like they had time, and I would just say busy, and this is the sort of thing that, like so many other things in life, where you just have to make time for your priorities. As I've said many times, you do not prioritize your schedule. You schedule your priorities. You schedule them. You schedule them into your day. You don't let your day become so busy that you just say, today I'm going to be saying thank you to people. I'm going to be writing thank you notes. We'll talk more about that in a moment. I'm going to be doing all this stuff. That's what you do. When in the same workplace study, when employees were asked, what they would like, they said they would like a personal thank you from their boss, and another would be a written thank you. No, those are the two things. So, if you're a manager, a director, executive, whatever leadership role you might have in a company, in an organization, in a nonprofit, in a church, a team, whatever it is where you have a leadership role, what people are saying is that they'd like to have a personal thank you, and a written thank you is very special to them as well. And again, we'll talk more about that because I got some experience with that and some stories to tell you that I think are pretty powerful. So think of it this way, like feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like buying a gift and then not giving it. Can you imagine just buying a gift and then you never give the gift? Well, then the person doesn't get the gift. And you're like, well, I spent the money and I took the time to go buy it. Yeah, but you didn't give it. And without giving it, it hasn't happened. It's the same. That's a real, some analogies are not the best. Some are a little strained. This one's about as pure as you can get. Feeling and knowing man, I feel gratitude. I'm thankful. And then not saying it is like buying a gift, taking the time and spending the money and then not actually giving the gift. And, No one does that, or no one should do that. So give thanks and give it, I think, again, quickly and consistently. And so let's just park here for a moment on the consistent part, because many times what happens with the thank yous is that they are occasional and sometimes very occasional. Something happened right here in city where I live. In fact, it happened at the high school that my oldest son attended. And this one young lady named Anna Wong just got this idea as a senior about to graduate that she wanted to do something called gratitude instead of gratitude with a T, with a D, like grad, G-A-R-D, gratitude. She was just, now she was someone that, was known to surprise friends with like little things to brighten their day. And she just started thinking it would be so wrong to graduate without saying thank you to all the teachers and staff. So in mid-February, she, and this wasn't this year, by the way, but in mid-February of her graduation year, she said, we're going to do something. She created a video and she posted on Facebook, and one of the other seniors saw it and said, man, this is a good idea, and offered his house and kitchen in his home to prepare 230 large chocolate-covered pretzels to give to every bus driver, teacher, administrator, and kitchen and custodial staff. So everybody that works at the school. And to keep it a secret, they never really announced it publicly. They did get the principal involved. But other than that, it was like an online thing, and it was like a Facebook group. About 30 or 40 seniors wrote and decorated thank you cards for the pretzel bags, for the pretzels and the bags they went in, and put up posters with motivational quotes, and even had some raffle prizes. And so the assistant principal, who was not in on it, only the principal, when it finally, came out, said, I've been in administration, school administration for 11 years. I've never seen anything like this. It was so good to see, and so, appreciated. One of the teachers started crying after she was shown a video, because she actually wasn't at the staff meeting when they were given out, so she didn't know about it, heard about it, then watched the video, and she just absolutely loved it. So this is fantastic, right? It's really like, it's an opportunity to, just say thank you for all those 4 years, and it's great. It's fantastic. But it does also illustrate that this is what we tend to do. The thank yous tend to be few and far between. We just celebrated Mother's Day, right? Mothers, the things that mothers do. I just read you the story about the one mom doing everything for Thanksgiving. My mother and wife both are phenomenal at the holidays. They create these marvelous Christmas and Thanksgiving, the food and the decorations. It's so great, all that they do. But of course, they do stuff every single day. As I wrote in that article that I told you about last week that I did for Fox News on motherhood, you'll never be bored or aimless being a mother. People got a kick out of that, because the moms did, because they're like, yeah, no, not bored and not aimless, don't have a purpose, I know what I'm doing. So, but do we really, we just going to park on one day a year to say thank you? It would just be so wrong to do that, to just have one day a year. So we need to do it consistently, not just occasionally and quickly as well. People don't know how much you really appreciate them unless you tell them. So we have to find ways to say thank you. We have to find ways to do it. And that may require some creativity. Here, I read the story. One boss, and I don't know how he, got the information, but he got the name and the number of each of the people that worked for him, their mother's phone number, and called them up and told the mom what a great job their son or daughter was doing at the company. Now, that is really creative and really kind of an ingenious thing to do, to just go right past now you can't go past the person. You got to be saying thank you to them, but to just go beyond just that, to let the parents know, man, you raised a good kid here that really is doing a great job for our company. And we just want you to know that, we really appreciate them. There's just something about a verbal thank you that is just powerful. I mean, words matter. My life is words spoken and written, so I'm a little extreme when it comes to the power of words and the meaning of words and all sorts of things like that. But I mean, I'm just telling you this. I don't think I'm just being prejudicial when I say that words are so powerful. And of course, that goes both ways, right? I mean, they can really wound and hurt, but they can also bless and lift up in so many ways. And you just never know when someone really needs the thank you. Like, you don't know what's going on and what they're thinking and maybe what they're struggling with, and just wondering if it's really even worth all the effort, and does anyone even care? Is it even noticed? Is it appreciated? And then you say thank you, and all of a sudden it's just like a jolt of energy. It's such a boost that they receive because they're like, it is worth it. I am making a difference. People notice and they care. I mean, I just so much believe in encouragement, that versus discouragement. There's an enormous difference. I talked about this last week. I'm proud of you, so I don't need to repeat it again. But what you're doing, when you encourage people, it's just absolutely marvelous. Now, listen, you can also take the thank you to the level of written, not just spoken. A written thank you note. I'm a huge believer in these. My entire career had a stack of thank you notes in my desk at all times. And when I ran out, I said to my assistant, time to get some more of those thank you notes. My staff, I always talk to my staff about writing thank you notes. And I have been in people's homes on many an occasion. And on the refrigerator with a magnet is the thank you note that I wrote to them. That's what it means to people. It means a lot. And when you take the time to get a card and to write words down in this era of a speedy, text this and email this, there's something about a handwritten card received in the mail. Like, you go to the mailbox and there's something there. It's different than checking your email 10 times a day. You go once to get the mail. There isn't nearly as much mail as there used to be, frankly, and there it is, a handwritten note. I just would, especially if you're in any kind of leadership role, not that, I'm saying a lot of this stuff like leaders, like only leaders should say thank you. Everyone should say thank you. But I think if you're in a leadership role, it's just so vitally important to do. And the third thing, of course, is, giving a gift, like giving a gift. And there's a reason why flowers are so important in, like, especially in like a marriage, giving your wife flowers if you're a man, because it says thank you. Thank you for all that you do. It expresses love. It communicates it. And again, any sort of gift or even thoughtful thing, that your spouse, like my wife was out shopping and found something that she knows that I like to eat and brought it home, like, I thought of you and appreciate all you do, and I just want to give you this. I mean, that's how you stay married for a long time, is stuff like that happening. I can assure you of that. But if you want your relationships, whether they're family or work or friendship or whatever they are, if you want them to be strong and better and healthier and happier, these 2 words, 10 words can change your life. These 2 words, thank you. Probably all of us are not saying it as much as we should. Say it, write it, give it, and it will change your life for the better. I'm sure of that. Have a great week.
You've been listening to the Point of Impact podcast with Rick McDaniel. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to you joining us for our next episode.